This is our first time actually pulling this young people thing off.
Right.
We
Well,
did
we are just the old white guys. What do they call us? Fucking uncles?
it. Pretty much, right?
We're just
Wow.
we're uncles that need to spend more money on less money on whiskey and more money on audio equipment to do our podcast. Right? I mean, that's
To
what we're telling.
everyone who's said that we should invest more in better equipment, they are exactly on point.
Right.
They're right. We appreciate all the feedback. We definitely do. So thanks to everyone who has ever tuned in and listened to two old
I guess
guys talk about
about
young.
nonsense.
Yes.
Well, I guess we need to get on Twitter is what my daughter's telling us
Yeah.
because like I guess there's a ton of people that are responding to our video feeds on Twitter and neither one of us use Twitter, so those things they're just comments just sitting there.
I really do wish that I had the bandwidth to do all the things, but man, it's just crazy. So much social media, right?
Right.
So much of it. It's impossible to keep up and at the same time
Yeah.
do all the real world shit that men have to do to keep this whole world operating. And that's one of
Right.
the things, imagine that I got into a fight on Facebook recently with someone.
Imagine.
And I said, look, not to get too political too quickly, but I said, if you guys want to win, and I'm talking to he's a Democrat, he's dyed in the wool. I said, you have to start from a position of, number one, don't even talk about climate change. Just drop that. Not a winning issue. And number two, you have to be able to say this one sentence. An adult female is a woman. You got to be able to say that.
Right.
Got to be able to say
Good
that.
luck with that.
You're too hung up on this one issue. I'm like, no, I'm not hung up on this issue. I'm telling you that you have to have clarity about whatever your message is, but that's one of them. You got to be able to say that. If you can't say that, you're just spinning your wheels in quicksand and then complaining when the majority of Americans are saying, we think that's dumb, and therefore we don't trust you on these other issues that might be like really important issues. We could agree that
Right.
housing, not to get too deep into all the weeds just yet, but we can agree that housing and healthcare are more important than whether Johnny wants to wear a dress and run a 100-meter sprint.
I think there's a couple things that Democrats need to do. And this was something that I also got in a fight with one of your followers on Facebook about.
Imagine that.
And I think I'd even made a comment to you, like if you just keep calling me a racist because you don't like what I'm saying, or I'm a Nazi because you, then okay, fine, I'm a fucking racist Nazi. Now what? Now what are we gonna do? Now can we have a conversation? Now that I've agreed that I am what you have been calling me, can we just move past that now? Because it's one matter of fact, one of the Teresa just showed me one of the comments, or one of the things that's getting a lot of comments on the Twitter is us talking about words, the N word or racial slurs, and I was like, I think I said something to the fact of once I get to that point, I'm going to say it, right,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like it, but I want it to carry weight. I want it to offend you, is what I had said, right? If I'm going to use that word, I want it to be offensive because I want it to carry the weight that it has. Well, there was a ton of people that just got on Twitter and they're freaking, I'm just an old white racist rich guy that I guess I don't know what the hell they're calling me, but it's insane. But I feel the same way like about the Democrats. Like if you keep using the word, if every conversation, if I say something that you don't like, if I'm like, well, I support Donald Trump, and you're like, well, now you're just a racist fascist. Well, I'm not really a racist or a fascist, so you don't get to just say those things because you're just saying it to everybody that just disagrees with you. Now, I disagree with a ton of people. I disagree with you on a ton of things. We're still friends. It doesn't make me a racist or a fascist just because I disagree with you. It doesn't mean I like you any less because we disagree on things. We just disagree on issues, and that's that. Not everybody's a racist. Not everybody's a white supremacist. Not everybody's a fascist that voted for Donald Trump. I doubt if there's even a percentage of those people in any group that you could say won him the elections. But according to the Democrats, if it wasn't for the white supremacists in the United States and the fascist movement, he would have never been a president. And it's just insane to me. So I think that they need to move away from the trans thing. I think they need to move away from the climate change thing, and they need to just quit calling everybody that voted for their opponent a racist. It's insane. It's insanity.
Now I do see what looks like new school fascism, but
Right, but well, so and they reframed fascism, right? So fascism was a thing, and now if you go to Wikipedia and look up fascist, it's just the MAGA movement, which is bullshit because if that's it's not like you can't just you can't just change things in fascism's been fascism for the last 150 years, and now all of a sudden they're going to be like, nah, we're going to call it fascism now. We're just going to reframe it. And if you go look at the definition of fascism, it's the MAGA movement.
so
You can't. That'd be like me. Okay, well now we're going to redefine what being black is. You can't redefine it. Like it, you can give it a different name if you want, and you can call it something different. But don't redefine what fascism is, and then say that what we're doing is fascist. Because what Antifa is doing and what Black Lives Matter was doing 5, 6 years ago is way more fascist than what the MAGA movement's doing right now.
so it's interesting. You make a good point about a very salient point about whether about the invention, the creation, the use of new terminology. And actually don't have a problem with that. We've talked about that. That's actually related to what we've said with regard to the remaking and sort of the reimagination and the reinvention of certain fairy tales. It's like,
Right.
why not just simply write a new story as opposed to simply, as opposed to being lazy and trying to recreate the old story. There's a certain laziness in using older terms to inflame, to demonize certain groups. So there's certainly a certain definitely a laziness there. Now, so that's me agreeing with what you're saying.
Right.
Where I push back is that by the same token, or on the other hand, words can evolve over time. For example, when we talk about slavery or enslavement, we have one thing in mind where a person is being forced to work for no pay. Yet, in the modern era, although we are aware or have reason to believe that slavery does still exist in other parts of the world, that in the U.S., there are people who are technically wage slaves. And I do, not everyone necessarily believes in that concept, but if we've got a person sort of trapped in a cycle where they can't seem to spin their way up out of it, they have to continue to work for a very low wage. They are essentially a wage slave, even though there is a wage component to it. So you're not entirely wrong, but also I would ask a little bit of leeway with regard to allowing definitions to evolve over time.
I'm okay with them evolving over time, but that's like saying, okay, now I'm going to redefine what a Republican is because I don't like the Republican that's in office, right? So now we're going to redefine Republican is just fascism, or is just Marxism, or is just dictatorship, or is just this because I don't like it, right? So just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you get to go in and just change the meaning of it because you don't like it. Because what you're asking me to do is just accept that I'm a fascist now because they've changed the definition of fascism, and I just need to be okay with it because words evolve, right?
Okay.
And that's not it's not okay. It's not okay to change it. Just define it. Like if you want to just say, hey, the MAGA movement is this, then okay, I guess I have to agree with that because that's what it is, right? I don't see it as fascism, but you're asking me to compromise on whether or not it is fascism so that way the word can evolve. And I don't know if that's the way our country works. That's not, you don't get to just start calling, a little boy a little girl because that fits the new definition of what a little girl is, right?
Yeah.
You don't get to do that because that's not what it is, right? He's a little boy dressing as a girl. So this party is what it is. You don't get to just call it fascism because you disagree with it. I disagree with the Democratic Party. So now what do we are we going to just start calling them Marxists because that's what they are?
So there is, let's look at, well, gosh, I know that I want to stay here, but our conversations, they just can't sometimes.
Right. No, we'll just go with it.
But one of the things that I was introduced to, and I'll loop back to the USA in just a moment. One of the things I was introduced to recently here in Europe was something called chat control. And I've always sort of, I when I look at social capitalism here in Scandinavia, I'm obviously very fascinated by it. Um, I think that a lot of my politics align with the social democrats who are very capitalist, but also look at wanting to make sure that there's a strong enough social safety net for everyone to have a really good chance to live well here, to succeed, and to not have a floor like the poverty in Denmark specifically. It's just not a thing. I mean, uh, I see homeless gypsies, but that's different. They're not trying to participate in society. That's not what they want to
Right.
do, right? So, that's kind of how I've always thought of myself as being one of those like young-minded social democrats, right? And that's of the Scandinavian version, not the liberal progressive left Democrat in the U.S. But I bring that up because this chat control thing is a they're saying that it's about protecting minors and limiting the exploitation of minors online and also preventing trafficking and things like that. When in reality, or how that's achieved rather, is by mass surveillance of all your online activities. Mass government surveillance, to me, sounds like fascism. That sounds like it just does, right? So it's like for whatever reason, the left here in Europe and the EU has taken this thing on, and so the right is gaining influence because no one in the middle supports that shit, and certainly no one on the right supports mass surveillance. Sure, we all want to protect children, but how we do it
Right.
shouldn't infringe upon all of our rights in the process. So
Well, I
that's
mean,
a
and
fascist element of liberal politics, left and liberal politics that I would offer as something that it's to me it's fascist if we're
right, but
making the
and
analogy.
also you're in a different country. You don't get to have the same rights where you're at that I have here because their laws are different than mine. There are people in Europe right now that they're going to jail because they're saying stuff on Facebook. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I don't know how true any of that is, but those are the stories that are floating around,
So
right? And you don't celebrate the same freedoms here. Just like when you're illegal and you come to this country, the left is like, well, he has rights. They don't have rights because they're not here illegally. So they're not a legal citizen of the United States. They don't get to enjoy the constitutional rights that a citizen of this country has because they're here illegally. They've broken the law. They've come here illegal. They don't get to celebrate that stuff. They don't get to use well, I have a constitutional right. You have no constitutional right because you're not a citizen of this country. No different than if I went to Europe and I started spouting off and saying stuff in Europe online that they say is against the law, they would come and arrest me and put me in jail for that because I don't get to celebrate my rights as an American citizen in a different country. It's not the way that it works. The world is just weird like that. But only
borders.
the liberals here want it to be free everything.
So you mentioned that. Now I did look that up sometime last year because I thought I'm like, that didn't happen. That didn't really happen. There is at least one case, at least one, where someone in the UK was arrested for what they had said online, and I want
There's
to say there
more.
was
I
one in.
just I just seen them on Twitter. Some little kid. They just came. Um, they just two police officers just went to this parents the kid's house told the parents that they needed her devices and they confiscated all of her devices because of things that she was saying online. She was like 9 or 10 years old.
Which is
Threatening to
crazy.
put her in. They're
Just
going to put her
crazy.
in jail.
right? So, for me, that's one of those. There's certain things that I say, even one case is too many.
Hmm.
This is one of the issues as a person. That I'm big on saying whatever the hell I want to say. I'm a I'm a free speech absolutist. I can't even get the word out.
Right.
I'm a free speech absolutist, and really have been for a long time. And so I've always, I didn't care how hateful someone's speech was. You can say what the fuck you want to say. You can't make threats. That's different. It's
Right.
different.
Well,
Mhm.
and just
Actionable
because you
threats are different.
right, well, and just
But
because you can say whatever you want doesn't necessarily mean that you should always maybe put that shit online.
there you go.
You
There
know
you
what I
go.
mean?
But
Like if
I don't
if
want you arrested for it.
right, so like if me and you were sitting in my bar and
Mhm.
there's no devices on, I'm free to say whatever I want. There's
Right.
no record of it. It's just me and you,
Mhm.
and some of that stuff should be said like that.
Mhm.
These idiots going on national TV and going on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the Twitters and all of the web shit that they have, saying this stuff and expecting no consequence. Nobody ever said that there wasn't a consequence to free
Mhm.
speech. You say stupid shit, there's a consequence to saying stupid shit. Just like when you go out and do stupid shit, if you go out and drink and drive, there's a consequence to that, right? It's against the law. Speech is not against the law, but that doesn't mean that I need to employ you. I
Yeah.
can certainly fire you from your position at my business if I disagree with what you're saying, because you're representing yourself. You work for my business, and now you're representing yourself to the world. And if they know where you work,
Mhm.
now that's my business,
Mhm.
right? My business doesn't stand with the shit that you're saying, or maybe it does in some cases, right? It
Yeah.
could stand with it, and maybe you stand up and say, no, I support what that person's saying, and I'll stand behind that. But there has to be some kind of give and take there. You don't just get to go through life without consequences.
I believe in consequences for sure,
I
but I don't
also am a
think
free
one of those
speech guy, though.
I'm sorry.
I am also a free speech person, though. I believe that you can say all the stupid shit you want.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
And so for me, the fact that, we were able to confirm that, someone had been arrested for an online comment, was very disturbing. I just
Hmm.
didn't, I'm always going to, I mean, if you want to shame someone for that, for what they said, that's fine. You don't like what they
Right.
said? Shame them. Blast them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Arrest them, have them
Yeah.
arrested, have them charged with some whatever this was. And I don't have, I'll apologize for not having the full context of that case and right before me
Well,
right
and there's
now,
a
but I
few
can
of them now
confirm that
too. So
I'll say,
there's a few of them now.
yeah.
So it's
So,
not just one.
so the fact that it has happened is a problem. We don't
Hmm.
want that, uh, to exist. And so that's something that has been authored by, this is the type of thing, a type of fascist sort of treatment of individuals that I consider fascist, for
Right.
us to, try to control speech. Now, you've heard me talk about your president with regard to these like loyalty tests that they're doing and everything, and I consider that sort of authoritarian. And that is sort of authoritarian.
I don't know what loyalty test you're talking about.
He
So
kind of wants people to bend the knee. He's really into that.
I mean, I think that's just a left wing talking point. But continue.
Could be.
I
I'm
don't
not
see
sure
people
why we would.
bending the knee. I see a group of people that are just tired of dealing with the left's bullshit, and they're
Mhm.
just tired of dealing with, oh, because I said I'm a woman, or because I said I'm a unicorn, or because I said you can't do this, you can't do this. Well, the law is the law, and if you don't like it, you're anybody that doesn't like it, they're more than welcome to move out. They're not more than welcome to go into cities and just burn shit down. That's
Um,
unacceptable behavior. When you start burning shit to the ground, there's consequences to that, just like there's consequences to saying things.
So this city thing that's kind of going on, uh, seems strange to me. Like, what is I keep hearing this National Guard here, National Guard there. What is, and then I look up and I see pictures and videos of National Guard troops being used, for,
Well,
was
I
it
don't know if this fits the
beautification?
bend the knee thing that you're talking about, but you have a bunch of people on the right that are tired of their cities being run by democratic people that just allow shit to happen. So you have like Oregon's the big one right now, and in Portland, Antifa's there, and I guess they've been there every night for months down there, and they're like right now. Today I was just looking this morning. They actually are blocking off streets. So if you live anywhere around the neighborhood, you have a
Mhm.
bunch of people in rainbow hats and black face masks that won't let you drive down the street,
Okay.
which is just freaking crazy to me.
Sounds like a local police issue, no?
You are frozen.
I'm frozen. No, you're frozen, buddy.
Oh, what have I got here? Are
There
we good?
you are.
I had something pop up on the screen.
Oh,
So
so they came out. Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
can still hear their audio though. You were good, clear there.
okay. So you have these people that are doing this stuff, and the right's just tired of it. You can say the president's tired of it. You can say the right leaning Congress is tired of it. You can say me as a right wing voter is tired of it. But I'm tired of these people just going down there threatening law enforcement. They're your civilian. Like, let them do their job. If you disagree that I should be picking up illegals in this country, then go become a politician and change fucking laws. Change the law, because all they're doing is the law. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you get to call it fascism. Just because you don't like them upholding the law and arresting people that are in our country illegally, I don't know. I'm not saying that I even agree with all of it. I'm just saying they're doing their job. You don't get to dox these people and go find out their addresses, start threatening their fucking kids, threatening them at home, threatening their spouses that you're going to go kill them. That's fascism. That's dictatorship. That's you disagree with law enforcement doing their job. So now you're going to hunt them down on the streets when they're with their families getting a lunch, and you're going to shoot these people. That's what you're saying. That cannot exist in this country. It can't. I don't give a shit what side of the aisle you're on. That type of behavior cannot exist here.
A bunch of
Period.
masked men show up at John Mack's door
Somebody's getting shot.
demanding whatever it is they want to demand. Are you choosing to, and they're claiming that there's some authority, but they haven't necessarily competently or sufficiently to your standard demonstrated that they have the authority to
Oh,
demand whatever
I thought you were
they're
asking if
doing.
Antifa people showed up at my house. If you're asking if law enforcement showed up at my house, I have nothing to hide.
A bunch of
Like,
masked
I'm not doing
men.
anything illegal. So, first of all, why are they coming to my house?
That's just it.
So I've broke plenty of laws.
So
Please don't show up to innocent situations. When I'm walking down the street with my dog, cops aren't just stopping and saying, "Hey, why are you walking down the street?" Because that's not what we're talking about.
see, and
No, no,
that's privilege speaking.
it's
Just so
not
clear.
privilege.
That's privilege speaking on
When
that.
has it happened? When has that happened?
See, stop and frisk was an actual policy that existed in the U.S., but we won't go beyond that, right? Really quickly.
But I hold on. We've already established that I've been in way more trouble in my life than you have in your life.
I mean, that's
I've gone to jail. I've been pulled over. I've had my car searched against my will. I've had all of that happen to me. You know why they pulled me over though? Because I was breaking the fucking law.
so.
That's why they didn't pull me over, because I was just driving down the street. I drive down the street every day. I've been pulled over recently. You know why they pulled me over? I was breaking the law. I was speeding, or I was doing something. They pulled me over. They gave me a ticket. I went about my day. They went about their day. I'm not walking down the street, and we're not talking about 1960 or 1950 or 1940 or 1930 when all that shit was happening. We're talking about today. So I'm sorry that the past happened. I'm sorry that that shit happened before 50, 60, 70 years ago. Today is what I'm talking about. When you're walking down the street today, they're not just stopping innocent people that are walking down the street. That's not what cops do. And
So we're
and you're delusional if you think that that is what they're doing.
we're certainly not going to indict all officers and all law enforcement. We're not doing that. Nor are we going to say that all citizens are are good actors either. We're not going to do that, either of those things.
Right.
But upon you mentioned Portland, did Portland, and I will confess, I haven't done any amount of research on this.
Hmm.
Did the mayor of Portland or the governor of Oregon reach out to the president and say, "Hey, we need some support here"? Is that what
No,
happened?
no, no, no. They've actually told the police to not get involved in it. So basically, they're saying Antifa has a right to be there and do what they're doing, and the police are being directed by their local officials to not get involved.
Hmm. Okay. Um. So what I heard about
So
recently
there was
was,
some lady that there was a matter of fact, the lady and like a 10-year-old girl got assaulted. Like she got punched in the face or kicked or something,
Mhm.
and then some reporter was down there, like in social media reporter was down there, and they started like chasing her down. They beat her up. Uh, I believe, and this is just the Cliff Note version. I believe engaged with police. Her security had made contact with the person that hit her, and they were following that person. They contacted the police. The police went over, said, "Sorry, there's nothing we can do about it." And then the next day, they put out an APB for the girl that they said, "Hey, we're looking for this girl. We have her picture." When they legitimately were standing across the street from her and would not go arrest her.
Hmm.
And that's the type of crap that's happening there.
Doesn't sound like that big of a deal. I don't know. Why is it not
People
getting
people
actual?
people getting assaulted on the
Hang on a
streets not
sec.
a big deal.
Let me finish. Let me get the statement out. I
Okay.
guess I would ask, why are we not seeing? And maybe my social media is just a little bit dull. Why are we not seeing actual coverage of if this is like this sort of widespread thing? If it's an isolated attack, certainly not something that's wonderful or that should be okayed. But again, seems like a really small kind of issue is what I'm hearing.
I don't understand what you're saying is a small issue. You have
It
you
sounds
have a
like it
group
sounded like a very
you have a group
isolated
of
event is what I was
you
saying.
have groups well that you have a group of Antifa people that are showing up to a ICE facility for the last, let's just call it 30 days, but I know it's more than that, every night, threatening people and beating people up, not letting people drive to and from their houses. They're trashing the property around. So if your house was across the street from this place, your house is getting trashed.
Mhm.
They're there till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with bullhorns and noisemakers and all of the crap, just disrupting life because they don't like what ICE is doing.
Do they
So
have a
they don't
website?
like these. What's that?
Do they have a website or a Facebook
Does
page you can
Antifa
look at?
have a website? I
Yeah.
don't know. I ain't going on no fucking Antifa website. You kidding me?
I
Why would I
mean,
go on?
I'm just looking for.
I mean, I can send you stuff if I mean, you downplaying it doesn't make it any less accurate that it's happening. But I can send you something if you would like.
Let's see. So, ICE facility in Portland under siege. And it's only happening at night. They're going to work in the
They
daytime and then
show up
going
there
to do the
like
siege at night.
well yeah well they show up there to protest every night.
Okay. So
So
it's
they were
not. So this is different than.
so I'm going to
Because
send you a
okay, so
link.
here's what came across my feeds the last month or so. Um, was that we were going to have the National Guard in Memphis, the National Guard in Chicago, National Guard in D.C., which is where they were doing the gardening and beautification work. But those were related to just general crime. But what I'm hearing from you right now, and correct me if I'm hearing you incorrectly, but what I'm hearing from you right now about Portland specifically, take the other cities out of it,
Mm-hmm.
we're using the National Guard there because the ICE facility in Portland is under siege by a bunch of protesters, Antifa,
I
whomever.
do not know if they've sent. I know that they've talked about sending the National Guard there. I do not know if they have sent the National Guard there. I know that ICE is out there defending that space, making them like they've put up barriers now. Like you have to stay on that side of the street if you're going to protest. You're going to not if you come out into the middle of the street. If you block cars, we're going to arrest you. If you come on
Mhm.
this side of the street onto the property, we're going to arrest you. But I believe it's still just ICE agents that are doing that stuff.
So
I
they're
don't know if
being
National Guard showed up yet.
so the protesters are deliberately disrupting and potentially so they're disrupting ICE operations there,
Yep.
but then
I know some lady
also
just got shot in Chicago.
So now we're back to Chicago. So they shot someone in Chicago for
And I
what?
think that might have been National Guard because she was in a vehicle with multiple people, and they were ramming ice vehicles, military, or they were ramming police vehicles with their car. And
Mhm.
when they went to remove her from the car, she had a gun, and I guess she got shot.
So a vehicle, well, certainly a gun, but a vehicle is a deadly weapon, and if you're using it as a weapon,
Yeah.
then you pose a deadly threat, and so
Now I don't know if they
I would have
killed her.
no problem
I
with
don't know if they shot and killed her or not, but I do know that she was shot.
but I would not have a problem if that's what went on. I would have no problem with law enforcement acting to eliminate or neutralize that threat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with any of the crap they're doing right now.
Let's see. So Portland.
I think they should start arresting these freaking bozos and just put them in jail because they're all a bunch of softies anyway. And if they had to spend any time locked up with real hardened criminals, they
Mhm.
would leave. They would leave that jail or that prison with a different aspect of life. You know what I mean? Lock them up with some of these people that they think they're defending. Lock them up. I say you should just. I'll buy tickets. We can just start sending gay people to Palestine. Yeah, see how that goes. You know what I mean? Like these
Yeah.
people are there. You got these LBGTQX people defending hardened. They're freaking military killers. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Palestine's right or what. I don't even care. I just see that you have these people, this left wing group of people that are defending people that if those two people's paths actually crossed in the real world, one side would kill the other. That's just the way that would happen. But yet you have these people that are defending them, being like, "Yeah, I support that." You guys are idiots. But hey, what do I know? I need to turn some light around here. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Gonna have to get you a little light.
Yeah.
The light of mine. So I am looking at there's a video here of like a small handful of people. I'm not saying that a small handful can't do a lot of damage and be disruptive. I'm looking at what appears to be the DHS facility in Portland.
So I just sent you a link. A guy that I like to watch. His name's JD DeLay. Basically, he's a sobriety teacher. Spent a lot of time in and out of prison.
Mhm.
He's not right or left leaning. That's his little spiel. He is an Oregon native, so he was in Oregon. I don't know if you've ever watched the guy or not. Super cool guy.
Mhm.
Um, and then so he went out. So he took his cameras and went out and offered these people like a platform to speak,
Mhm.
to just like give like, why are you here? Not whether I'm not with you, against you. I don't support Donald Trump. I don't support Kamala Harris type of, that was his kind of thing. He just has a platform, right? So he has a lot of followers on his YouTube,
Mhm.
and he thought that he would just go out there and give these people, kind of give them a voice. Like, what are you standing on? Why are you here?
Why are you here? Yeah.
Right. Why are you here? What are you doing? Like, is this movement worth what you're fighting for? Like, basically, just giving them a mic. And these people started attacking him, calling him a proud boy, calling him a fascist, calling him a racist, calling him a white supremacist because he showed up with a camera. These people don't even know him. Like,
Mhm.
you see a guy walking down the street and you just assume because he has a camera, he's down there because some of the people actually talked with him, and I think there was one guy, like if you watch, it's like a 20-minute video. One of the guys like talked with him for a few minutes and then asked him to not show his face and not air it. So he didn't. But anyway, so he was down there for a couple hours, and you can listen to him. He went down there. He has a YouTube channel. He tells you flat out, I'm not a race, or I'm not right, I'm not left, and he just gave an honest opinion of what is going on in Portland, Oregon right now.
Okay. I will check that out.
So it's good. I think it's good coming from somebody like him that isn't playing one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's good information.
Yeah, just show me what you got. Good deal. What else do we have going on? Government shutdown. I've been through government shutdowns before. I've actually been in the government when it was shut down before. Do you have a take on that at all, or is it just simply something that's out there?
It's just political theater to me.
Mhm.
You can't. The problem is you can't believe either side, right? Chuck Schumer's blaming Donald Trump. Donald Trump's blaming Chuck Schumer. At the end of the night, those guys are all going to go sit in the back room of whatever building they're in, and they're going to drink a whiskey together and figure out how to screw us more tomorrow.
Speaking
You know
of
what I mean?
whiskey, here's tonight's offering. We have
Oh, what are you drinking?
I've got
Cedar Ridge.
it says 2011, but that's just the bottle number. That's not a year.
Okay.
But yeah, Cedar Ridge, Iowa bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? Iowa.
Now I need to get something. You got a glass?
I do have a glass.
What are we gonna drink? I wasn't prepared for whiskey right now. Um, um, well, okay, we'll drink this one.
I like that. It's got a big selection there in the bar.
So this will be my little offering.
Stag
Junior, and this is
Junior. Love that.
131 proof.
Whoa! I ain't got nothing like that. Mine's like 80 proof. we're going light tonight.
All right. Well, there we go. I wasn't even prepared to drink tonight. I love your glass. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Yeah,
man,
that's good. The people are probably like, "Man, you make funny faces when you drink that, but you're saying it's good."
Man, life is good though. Life is good, but I will say, what? I'm broke. John,
yes,
these dudes came in and said they're gonna save us all this money. Come on now, John. We're gonna save us all this money. We're gonna do this tariff thing, and it's gonna. But when I say save all this money, let me qualify that. We're gonna use our Doge department to like cut a bunch of spending, save a bunch of money. Then we're gonna do tariffs on top of that, and life's gonna improve.
Mm-hmm.
John, why does stuff get more expensive?
I don't know if it got more expensive. It just hasn't gotten cheaper.
I'm getting
You know what I mean? Like I don't know if the price has actually gone up on anything really. Some prices have come down. I know like the egg thing was a big deal for a second because everybody was complaining about eggs. Like
that would have been a good feature for us to keep on going.
right,
Yeah, too much was happening, but man,
the eggs were a big deal. I know the price of things have come down. Not as much as what people were hoping. I wanted gas prices to be down a lot lower than they are, and they did get low for a while. But the problem in California is once they lowered those prices, once the oil prices went down, Gavin Newsom just started adding more taxes. I think we're at like 87 cents right now per gallon of gas taxed in California. Almost $1 in taxes. Freaking crazy. Nowhere else in the United States, but here, California, the beautiful sunshine state.
That's as everyone's moving to, not everyone, but a lot of people moving to EVs. But I heard EVs are actually, what I heard, John, and it aligns with something that we had talked about before, I thought anyway, was that there was really a pullback from the EV push. And so is California moving forward with that EV mandate they had, or is that
I don't know.
Now?
I know that they were running with it. You know what I mean? They're the ones that kind of set the stage for the rest of the United States to be completely electric by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. I mean, even Elon Musk says that's not possible. We don't have the infrastructure for it. Like you can't just make everybody drive an electric car. You know what I mean? but again, the government pushing like the 15-minute city thing. Have you heard anything about that?
So I like that concept. I
Right.
know
So
generally what that concept is. Yeah, I
so
like.
that fits with the EV thing, right? Because every 15 miles, or I think 15 miles or 15 minutes away from you, you have all of the luxuries that you need.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have that all the way through the country yet.
No,
You know
of
what I
course
mean?
not. Of course not.
In our area, in the Sacramento area, that 100% works. I could drive anywhere I want. I mean, I think unless you start getting down like the middle of California, but I'm sure they have chargers out there now. But anywhere in this immediate area, I could spend all day driving an electric vehicle around here, and I mean, you still pay for electricity to charge it, but I don't know. I think the whole EV thing's just a bunch of bullshit anyway. It's just another. Here's what I think it is. Have you watched 1923? You
No,
watch any of the Yellowstone stuff?
I've seen now Yellowstone the series. I watched some of that, but no, I haven't seen the.
Okay, so 1923, it's in the name. It's 1923 United States, right?
Mhm.
And one of the characters, they're talking about razors for men, right? And the wife said, Harrison Ford's the guy. He's shaving, and the wife says, next thing you know, they're going to be pushing razors for women, and then they're going to want us shaving our armpits, and they're going to want us shaving down there, and they're going to want us shaving our legs. And they said they're going to create a product to create a problem that we didn't have, and that's what I feel about electric vehicles.
Terrific analogy. I love it. Um, are you you prefer the legs, her legs to be shaved, or the woman's legs to be shaved, or not
Oh
shaved?
yeah, yeah.
Shake shave at all.
What's that? I always tell my wife I want that disease, the one where you're going bald, alopecia.
Oh yeah.
She's like, don't say that, but yeah, like, freaking hair gets in the way of everything.
Like it's smooth, man.
There's no.
Um, but that's a great analogy, and my thing, and you and I were really in line with that. Where hey, make the electric car available. We love
Yeah,
technology, but a mandate? What the? What are we talking about?
right.
Like,
Well, and it's kind of weird because as California goes with stuff like that, the rest of the country goes because
yeah.
the big three want to be able to sell their cars in California.
Hmm.
And if they have one state they can't sell them in, if none of the other states care, they're going to comply to what California's safety regulations are and what their fuel and all of that stuff. So that's why you end up with all of the bullshit smog stuff that we have.
Hmm.
Like the diesel trucks need that blue crap that goes in there now, and that's all just so you can sell a diesel truck in California. It doesn't. It's nowhere else in the United States. But now these people in Idaho or in Wyoming or in wherever, they have to buy this crap because their truck has to be able to be sold in California.
Hmm.
And it's I don't know. It's stupid. I heard Dodge is bringing back their SRT division. So I don't know. I mean, I know that they had gone away from doing all of like the muscle car builds and the
Hmm.
big motor builds, the big V8s and stuff, because they were anticipating having to, switch to electric. So they had started downsizing some of their bigger motors and like the high horsepower stuff.
Hmm.
But I heard all of that's coming back now. So we'll see where Chevy and Ford go. I mean,
I
Ford
love
never
like
stopped.
for me, it's the consumer wins when the consumer has options.
Right.
That's how I see it. I think, and I say the consumer wins. Everyone wins. I'm saying
Mhm.
it's not just the consumer. The businesses win when people have options. So I'm always going to support
For
that.
sure. And I'm
Um,
not I'm not against electric cars. Some of them are really cool.
mhm.
You know,
I want them to
you-
exist, but I don't want them to
I
be
don't
the
I don't know
only
if I would
option.
ever own one.
Yeah.
I like the sound of my truck. You know what I mean? I like the sound of my motorcycle.
Yeah.
When Harley was talking about going electric, they had some guy from I don't know over on your side of the world right now that was running Harley for a while, and they had the big Sturgis rally like either last year or the year before, and they showed up there after this guy said they're basically not going to build Harleys anymore and they're going to get rid of the V twin motor and they're switching to a whole different platform and they're going to go electric. And that booth was as bare empty as the Bud Light booth was there the year
I'm
before.
like, wait, what?
Nobody Nobody went. So right after that rally, they started talking about getting rid of this guy. They got rid of him, and they brought in some old biker hippie, I guess now, that's running Harley. And I mean, it is what it is. But I like the sound of, like, I like the sounds of my motorcycles, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's why I bought them. I love the sound of my truck when I get in my truck and it rumbles. I love that. My brother builds hot rods. I love going into his garage or into his shop when he starts one of his cars up, and just the sound of it and the smells and all of that. It's just nostalgic to me. And
Yeah.
if you make it go away and make it zzz down the street, I don't know if that's the same thing.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
would we have enjoyed the Sydney Sweeney commercial if she was driving an electric? I just don't think we would.
No, definitely not.
It doesn't. It doesn't land
Different
the same.
vibe. It doesn't. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Those Teslas, they're pretty badass cars. You know what I mean? They're quick. They're quicker than shit. I
What's
mean, they're
funny?
not top speed fast, but they'll get to top speed faster than anything on the planet. You know, they go from 0 to 100 in freaking crazy amount of time, faster than a gas car. But it just doesn't sound as cool.
I'll say so. That was one of the things that when I got my EV, right? I had gone. Now I've actually done like the swing up when Tesla first came out. I don't have a year in mind, but let's say 15 years ago, whenever that
I think
was,
it was like 2012 or something,
12 like that. Yeah,
something like that.
like I want one, so I just kind of like stuck it in my head. But of course, California don't really have a lot of space. I can't like garage extra
Right.
vehicles. All the things can't afford to insure an extra vehicle I'm not really driving. So it was kind of like a fantasy type thing, and so I kind of it stuck with me for a long time. And then as I learned more about how EVs
2003.
work, hmm?
2003. Sorry,
Those
Tesla.
three, okay. So as I learned more about the charging situation, and I'm like, no, I like road trips, like to
Hmm.
get in my truck, drive 600 miles, and then refuel.
Right.
I'm not doing anything where I gotta like stop, and it takes 30 minutes or even
30
the fast
minutes.
one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not doing that. And so I went completely away from it. Then I was like, oh, you know what? When the Lightning came out, I'm like, okay, I'll get the F-150
I
Lightning, and I'll just,
almost got one.
right?
Right.
And so I'm like, I'll get that, but I'm not going to be driving. I'm not doing road trips on it. I'm just going to have it as my daily driver. So long story short on that is that when I saw one in the wild for the first time right next door, I was like, I don't think I like this thing because I saw he was a tile guy,
Yeah.
and he went and he opened up the front of his
Yeah. I see. I like that.
he was
As a contractor, I appreciate that.
I was like, no, Joe.
Yeah.
I was so mad. John, I was so mad at this thing. I'm like, I'm never doing that. And so I ended up when I did finally decide, okay, I will go AV shopping again, I wasn't even consider the Lightning. I didn't even
Yeah.
consider it.
So what made? So I know a guy. His dad uh, owns the Ford dealership here in Rockland. Well, I think he owns a couple, one in Sacramento too. Anyway, I called him up, and he was like, "Yeah, you don't want that truck, dude." Like, so he bought one when it first came out, and then they towed their boat up to Tahoe or something, and he said he barely made it because the
He's like,
charge drains faster when it's under a load.
right? Right?
So it's not like, and you want a truck. The reason why you have a truck is to haul stuff, right? It's not, you don't have a truck. It's not a car,
Yeah.
right? So like if you bought a car, you're not going to tow stuff with it, and it drains the battery faster. And if you don't have the infrastructure, like what we were talking about,
Mhm.
to charge, how when you get halfway there and there's no charging stations, what do? Buy a generator and plug your truck into a gas generator? Like, come on now.
Like, is AAA coming out to you with
It's a
a generator?
battery charger.
It's like, so it was crazy. And so
It is
when I
evolving though. The electric thing is evolving. So they have some race cars out right now
Mhm.
that I was watching, and their biggest hurdle, they're racing 200 laps or whatever, right? 200 miles. Well, these batteries are draining really fast. So
Mhm.
the cars come in, they get pit stops, they get tires, and they get gas, and then they go. So they're working on a quick change battery
Yeah.
for these race cars. So things are evolving, right? The electric industry is going to keep getting better. Before, when they first came out, you couldn't even go to the quick chargers at your local Target and charge in 30 minutes. You had to go home and plug it in, right? And then those things became more and more. and now they've adapted to where you can plug in any electric car there. So it's really, they are building the infrastructure. It will get there, and I
Coming, yeah.
wouldn't doubt it that at some point they've almost completely gone away from gas burning engines because lithium poisoning the air is way better than carbon monoxide.
Just say it.
Right.
I remember getting yelled at.
Cleaner vehicles.
Yeah. So what they had told us also was that you could simply plug it in at home. What I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know until I actually got one was that the 110 charging is so slow. Like, oh yeah, it'll be ready in
Yeah.
like 4 days. Like, wait, what? I have to park my
Yeah.
car and plug it in for 4 days to get a full charge? That's crazy. But
Right.
when you get the 220 ends up being like an overnight, we'll charge it
Yeah.
up for you. So
Is that what you got?
yeah, you just simply
They're
install
pretty
it.
easy to install. I've installed them for a couple people. They're
Yeah.
pretty easy to install. You just need to put a breaker in.
Mhm.
Usually, because most electrical panels are on garage walls anyway, you can just drill a hole straight through the back of the panel and just run it straight in and
Mhm.
hook up your charger to the little charging station.
Yeah, it was fun to get the home charge. It was life changing. It was when I had tried to get the thing charged, like driving around town from station to station. I get yelled at by Karen at Target, and then I'm like, wait, but choose my story. Karen yelled at me at Target because I had apparently skipped the line. I didn't know it was a freaking line. I thought that you have to. It was weird. I think we may have had that conversation already, but
Yeah.
then I was going to another one, but it's in an apartment complex and it's only for those residents. I'm like, but it's not being used. No, it's residents only. It's not being used. Residents only. Okay, fine, I leave. So then I go back I take it to the Volvo dealership because I can get it done for free there.
Right.
Only wait, John, even though it's free, it's the freaking slow one.
It's free, but you have to be there for 4 days.
John, I sat there. I took a nap for like an hour and a half. It went up 4%. I had enough juice to get back home.
Come on now.
I called the guy. I'm like, there's something wrong with the machine. I said, you guys offer me free charging, which is great. I appreciate it, but it doesn't really charge.
Do better, Volvo. Do better.
Yeah, and it was basically, and that's what he said. It's basically just a 110. It was a charge point, but it's basically the same, as my 110 at home. Like, where do you do that at? So, make a very long story short, I called. What was it? Ampere Electric the following day. I'm like, hey, her brother needs a box like now.
That's funny.
Kind of crazy. So
electric bikes are a thing now, though. The kids on electric bikes. I caught myself being an old man, and then
John,
I had to stop because I didn't want to be a Karen. It kind of pissed me off. It got me going, and then I thought about it, and I was like, if I was a kid right now, if I was between the age of 12 and 15 years old, I would be the kid that I was pissed off at. I would be riding wheelies. I'd be freaking ripping that thing as fast as I could. I'd be hitting all of the jumps, all of the bumps, doing all of the things they're doing. So I can't be mad at them about it.
Where were you when? And just tell us what happened.
I was just driving down the street, and he was in the bike lane on the street, but he was riding a wheelie. And he's like doing the little zigzaggy thing. He wasn't like, I would have never hit him. He wasn't like out in the middle of the road, like riding a wheelie towards me. I'll run that little son of a bitch over. But he was just, he was being a kid. And I was like, oh, those kids. And I was like, oh, you're an old man right now. And I was like, don't be like that. So now, I do think that they need to do something about it. Taking them away from the kids isn't what they need to do. I think maybe, and this is something that I talked about with my wife and with my friend Ryan, instead of taking them away, how about if you just do a license? Because they're a motorcycle, and these things are going 20, 30 miles an hour, right? So I wear a helmet when I ride my motorcycle. So the little bicycle helmet that kid's wearing, it's not going to help him. Make him take a class. Make him go to the DMV. Make him register it. Make sure that it's put lights on it. Do whatever. Make it a vehicle that they can actually ride on the streets, and then make them abide by the law. If they're riding a wheelie down the street, no different than if you're riding a wheelie on a motorcycle down the street, cops can pull you over and be like, You can't do that, and we're going to give you a ticket. But give them a chance. Don't just take it away from them because you don't like it.
So here's where I line up, John, is that those didn't exist, 30 years ago, right? 40 years
They
ago.
did not.
I guess, I mean, mopeds did, but not like this,
Right.
It wasn't
that's
the
what I'm
same,
saying.
right?
Yeah, we
And
used to
so,
ride gas-powered mopeds to school the
right,
same way we rode those. The kids are riding those things. So anyway,
I look at it and I see the speeds these things can travel. My one experience, to kind of personalize it a little bit, was with one in Portugal, or wherever it was, somewhere. And the point was that when I tried to get off it and then something, it wanted to continue going. And so I'm holding it, it flies up and it almost strikes someone. And it would have hurt that woman badly had it hit her. And I just thought, wow, this is a really dangerous thing. And I didn't have complete control of it,
Mhm.
One of the things I've always felt, and, as a motorcycle rider, I absolutely respect the freedom that you get to enjoy on your bike. But what I don't like is that car versus bike simply is
Dangerous.
not a fair thing, right? And I wish
Well, you
that there
can't put
were,
fair on it though. You can't. I mean, I don't know if fair's nothing's fair. Life isn't fair, so fair is a wrong analogy. It's dangerous, and
yeah.
there's a risk to it, and people need to pay attention on both sides. The people on the motorcycles need to really pay attention to the people in the cars, and the people in the cars should probably pay a little bit more attention.
If what
As
I've
a motorcycle rider, that's the way I
uh,
feel about it.
right, in a perfect world, there would be roads that were just for motorcycles.
Oh, I'd love
Where
that.
where your only risk is going to be like another cyclist, right? So
Right.
that for me would be a perfect world where all these different lanes exist, where this road system exists just for motorcycles. I'd love that. I'd be
I
on
would love it too.
probably, you're right. But hell, John, San Diego, like just like a week and a half ago, 2 bicyclists hit one another and one person died.
Yeah,
Bicycles.
it's
That's crazy.
dangerous, man. Well, and that's what I was saying. So, like with these, and they're they're probably wearing proper gear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They probably most people that ride bikes now. I mean, even when I was mountain biking, I wore a helmet. I wouldn't ride without one. When I ride my motorcycle, I don't ride without a helmet. I won't even wear one of those silly little skull cap helmets. I wear a full face. I'm not screwing around. I want to try to stay alive. So that gives me the best option. And I think that these kids riding these electric bikes, I think that they should have to go take a class. I'm not saying that it has to be like a full blown insurance license, registration, all of that, but make them responsible, right? Instead of just telling them no, they can't because you as a Karen are offended that they're going 25 miles an hour on their scooter, and you think that it's dangerous and you wouldn't do that. Well, I do a ton of shit every day that people don't want to do or wouldn't normally do. You know what I mean? Like just because you don't do it, you don't get to tell me that I can't. So let's help them be responsible instead of just telling them no, right? Let's make a way for them. Maybe they need to wear better helmets. Maybe they need to wear pants or whatever rules you want to attach to it, but make them responsible for their actions and what they're doing, because that's going to create a better human being.
And I haven't done like a lot of. It seems like I'm always hearing child hit, child seriously injured, child dead on these things. Could the same child have had an accident on their regular bicycle that doesn't go 25 miles an hour? Yes, it absolutely could have.
100%. I've been hit by cars on a bicycle.
Right. But these things are so fast, and I'm seeing them go. What I'm seeing, John, is that most of the riding that I'm observing, the kids are not wearing helmets.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
I'm seeing
that's what I'm saying. Let's make them responsible.
And I'm seeing a lot of 2 kids on one scooter.
we seen 4 kids on one the other day.
Right. Exactly.
4 girls on one electric scooter just scooting down the road. I'm thinking, good Lord.
So, and I don't want to be you don't want to be Karen. You don't want to be like the boogeyman.
Right.
Oh, kid, you don't want to do that. You don't want to take their joy away. And like you said, like the point that you made at the very start of the segment was that, look, when I was that age, I would have done the exact same thing
The
these
exact
idiots are
same thing.
doing, right?
Yep.
And how do we teach people to appreciate their mortality? But okay, that's me. That's a 50-year-old man talking, 55-year-old man
Right.
talking. A 10-year-old shouldn't think that way, right?
Right. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you start teaching them younger, teach them some responsibility. You know,
Responsibility
make
as opposed to
make
like
them responsible
fear.
for
Yeah.
their actions.
Mhm.
Then, in turn, you're teaching them about mortality. Like, hey, this is a dangerous thing you're doing. You know what I mean? Motorcycles are dangerous. What you're doing is you're creating a whole new generation of motorcycle enthusiasts, which I thumbs up. But teach them to be safe. You know what I mean? It's motorcycle world's a scary place
Yes.
because people in cars don't see me. You know what I mean? My biggest fear is stopping at a stoplight
Yeah.
because more motorcycles get rear-ended at stoplights than anything. Because you're looking at the light, or you're pulling up to your stoplight, and you look down at your phone, and they don't see you.
Hmm.
And and people, I get dirty looks all the time because I split lanes, and people are like, "Oh, you ride like a crazy, like it's so dangerous, and it's so this and so that." No, you know what's dangerous is staying next to people that are on their computers while they're driving on the freeway at 75 miles an hour, and me just having to flow into traffic with that person because they have a Tesla and all they have to do is touch the steering wheel, and now my life is in nobody's hands because they're not paying attention to me. Like, I'd rather just not ride next to a person like you. You know what I mean? And so, but it's a responsibility. Like, and I've told my kids this, I've told my wife this: if I die on my motorcycle, just know I died with a smile on my face because I love it. It's something that I really enjoy doing. And most people that ride kind of feel the same way. But you have to teach that. Like, you have to teach the kids to be responsible and teach them that it's a huge responsibility that you're taking on as a child or a parent, letting your child ride these things. It's not just, oh, hey, just go buy it and then they can just go wherever they want without a thought on it, because it's dangerous. The world, people don't see those things, and it sucks. But anyway, I would buy one if I was a kid.
I might buy one now.
They're expensive. They're expensive too.
They are
My
expensive.
grandson wants one, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, I was about ready to volunteer to buy him one, and I was like, no, your mom and dad can get that.
Oh. So the e-bikes are similar. The e-bikes are just way more powerful, way faster than people think they are. I saw
uh,
saw a kid riding one today. He was struggling, man. Like in Denmark, as we know, everyone follows the rules here. He's all the way on the wrong side of the street. He's about to cause a major incident. I was gonna say like riding a bike, but it's clear this guy probably doesn't really know how to ride a bike.
right.
So e-bikes are in the conversation as well as these like dangerous tools. Even a bike, centric culture like this one. Dude, I
Yeah.
want to see there's a study came out, I put it on my Facebook, something about uh people want to live in cities that are small cities, not big cities, but not small towns either. I'm like, let's build more of them bitches. Let's do it. We're Americans. We can do anything on this land that we have.
I think half the country doesn't like the idea, though. I like my little small town. I wish it was smaller. I wish I was further away from people.
Small towns, what I'm looking at. So one of the places I'm in has been a small town my whole life. I grew up there, right?
Hmm.
And it's now becoming a bigger town. And that's happening. People are wanting to come to these types of towns. They present new opportunities with regard to getting into a place that's not huge, so you can afford the housing. Uh, there are places that are becoming attractive to masses, so you can find work there. Um, and they're growing. So when I came to Lincoln, it was such a town. It was a small town that
Right.
it grew. right? And I enjoyed being a part of that, and other young families enjoy the same type of thing.
Yeah,
Let's create more of those cities, man.
yeah, yeah. I think the problem that I see is like when I came to Lincoln. I don't know when you moved here. I was she was 20. The first time I came up here was 2002.
Oh wow, so way before I even knew what Lincoln was. Yeah.
Right. So they were just building 12 bridges.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first 65 was a two-lane freeway.
It's
It was
amazing.
one northbound, one southbound lane. And 12 bridges was just a barely a paved off ramp that just went out into the middle of what used to be just be a huge field, and they were building houses out there. That was 12 bridges, and we fell in love with this place, and so we spent, and so my wife's cousin had moved up here in the 2002 2003. And so we had kind of kept popping up here and watching it kind of develop and
Mhm.
grow, and then we moved up in 2006 up to this area. We moved into Rockland and then came here via Loomis. So we went Rockland, Loomis, then Lincoln.
Gotcha.
But we like so it's basically just a surrounding area. But I think the problem with Lincoln is the people that grew up here didn't want it to grow the way that it grew. I think in I think in like 2005, 2006, about right before the housing bubble blew. So when was that? Like 2000, 2008. So yeah, like
Mhm.
2006, 2007. They had Lincoln as and Forbes magazine as the fastest growing city in the United States. It was like number one because of all of the housing that they were putting in. So they put in all the housing, but then they never put any infrastructure in. You know what I mean? They're still out there by like what's that, like the Goodyear place out there behind the Rayleighs. They have all of those pads that are poured because all of that was supposed to be buildings right next to where they do the rodeo.
Mhm.
That's been sitting there like that since
That's over.
2010.
Yeah.
It's been like that. You know what I mean? So 15 years. It's just they never finished building it because they didn't. But they keep building houses. I think they're lauded out there behind the dump now. They're
Yeah.
putting in like another 20 or 30,000 houses out there.
Saw that.
It's
I saw
freaking
that.
crazy.
We were going to the airport one day and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
For
So
real.
you can take Ferrari Ranch now is open all the way through. You could take that all the way out to the airport out to 99 now.
Yeah. We
Freaking
came in
crazy.
one a few months ago from coming from Roseville, um, out coming fitting it into in back of Lincoln.
It's insane back there.
It's crazy. It's
Yep.
crazy. It's so when we got here, we moved in '07,
Okay.
and it was pretty, TB was what it was, kind of on
Yep.
the come. And for me it just looked like the kind of place to raise a family. It just did
Yep.
right away. And
For
so
sure.
we were very thankful to be able to get in and to raise the kiddo there. Um and you know, there was that phase when it was old Lincoln versus new Lincoln,
Yep.
then
Yep.
now, almost 20 years later, we're kind of like old Lincoln now. It's like we're not
Yep.
fully old Lincoln because we ain't got grandparents from there,
Right.
but we don't have that. But
But I mean, think about it. I moved my whole family here.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Now my grandkids are growing up here. They are Lincoln,
It's
right?
interesting.
They've never lived anyplace else. This is their town. They were born and raised here.
I love it, man. That's so
You know
cool.
what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a lot different than the natives that were here prior to us. I think that a lot of those old timers, I don't think they like it. You know, and a lot of them have moved on. A lot of them have sold. What they're building houses on used to be ranches or orchards, and now they're just houses. So a lot of that stuff is going the way that it goes when small towns turn into cities. You know, it's unfortunate. I still like it here. It still has a small town feel. We go to all the downtown stuff.
Yeah.
It's beautiful down there. I hope it doesn't lose that. I hope that if they build another like city type thing, they do it somewhere away from downtown, the downtown area, and just let downtown be what it is. Don't put in big buildings, don't put in big hotels. Just keep the old brick facades and the old little businesses, and kind of just keep that hometown feel because it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of businesses coming in there now, and
Hmm.
it's cool to go downtown on a, like a Friday or Saturday night, and there's just people walking around, and it's got a cool feel. It's a
I
good
used to
vibe.
enjoy one of the things I really enjoy doing, and I've done it in a while now because I haven't been there. But used to enjoy going downtown to grab a lunch, grab
Hmm.
breakfast. Kim's back in the old Kim's. I loved
Yep.
these pancakes. And then lunch for me was at Whistle Stop Cafe back in the day.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed that. I'm very thankful, count myself very, very lucky to have people who are from there as friends, and well as people who were new arrivals like
Yeah.
ourselves. So definitely just a really wonderful community. 10 out of 10 would absolutely do it again.
Yep. I mean, shit, we've been here for almost 20 years now.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
Next year we'll be in this area for 20 years. So
yeah.
I guess I'm just a local person now.
My local, yeah.
My business, our business won like best of the best business. I'm like, really, how'd that even happen?
I love that. Well
you
done.
know.
Well done.
So I mean, it's cool. It's cool to have a name. It's cool to have a business here, and the community that kind of supports it. I would have never got that in Napa.
That's what I said to Kay was that, small towns like Lincoln support their small businesses.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I used to be on this thing called there's a Facebook group. Tell me what it was called. Good Neighbors of Lincoln. Used to be on there
Yep.
uh, before I got banned. But it was
Well, they started
always,
a new one. They started a new one for the band people.
oh yeah, right, yeah. Those of us who
2.0.
we think we're the good neighbors, we're really the bad neighbors. But
Right.
you know, one of the things that would come up was how much do you talk about your small business experience, or you know, what's the responsibility of a small town to its small businesses as it relates to social media? And, you know, people generally agreed that, hey, we understand that you went into this non chain, this mom and pop, had a bad experience and you want to vent about it. But universally, people generally agreed, please take this initial complaint to the owner, to the
Hmm.
person in charge of that business, rather than come on here and do things which, if a restaurant's only getting, say 20 tables a night, and five people see your post and two of them decide, you know what, let me go someplace else instead, you've just impacted that business with something that may have just been a one-off or simply a
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
That's one of Teresa's biggest concerns with me on social media is the business because I mean, we grew our business on Facebook with the marketplace and with the Good Neighbors thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that was where for years that was. I mean, even to this day, it's probably where a good 50% of our business comes new clients.
Mm-hmm.
I guess word of mouth and new clients are kind of the same thing, but word of mouth I think is better because that's a referral from somebody that we've already done work for that liked us, like you and your wife. She refers us to all kinds of people. But I think probably 50% or more comes from just posts on Good Neighbors, and people will say, "Oh, they'll tag us in it," or Corey will go look on there, and then he'll tag us in it, and then they reach out, they call us, they look at our Facebook page that is completely outdated because we don't do anything with it, which is I have no idea.
Yeah.
But they go look and they see pictures, and then we go meet them, and but it's still, I would say it's comparable to what the yellow pages used to be when I first started.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was,
Mhm.
I remember when we first started our construction business in 2000. Uh, that was like it was a big deal. You had to be in the phone book. If you weren't in the phone book, you weren't
You're running a business.
getting business. You weren't getting business
Yeah.
because that's how people found you.
What's
And
interesting,
we spent a lot of money being in several phone books.
what's fun, sorry, replacing, I'll tell you, I got a new phone book story, but I'll save it for another time. One of the things that didn't really exist back then was the ability to give that rapid review,
Yeah.
um, good or bad, right? And
Right.
so, um, that has really been a game changer for better or worse. And I think, on the downside, that it can have a deleterious effect on especially a newer small business
Yeah.
that hasn't really had a chance to sort of earn its reputation yet. And I don't know that a lot of people are so reactionary,
Hmm.
and a little bit of shade here, without calling any names, but some people who have small businesses themselves have also done the same thing, and then they get called out by people in town, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, don't you run a small business too? How
Yeah.
would you feel if
Well,
someone did this to you?"
right. Well, and with the new businesses, right? I mean, that's something that I'm like, we need, like, we push that really. I push it a lot because the new business is so, I guess, what would be the word? Like, so, it could be really affected by what you're talking about, the new business. The construction company, not so much. I mean, you're dealing with a handful of people, but this new business is like, it's kind of fragile to that. And if you start getting a lot of bad reviews and a lot of thumbs downs and a lot of bad comments, it really affects that business. It's a real fragile thing. So
Mhm.
we have to be really careful with the things that I say or the things that I do, or people know who I am or know what businesses I own, because this, what we're doing right here, you put this on out to the world, there's people out there that don't like my point of view, and then they can go on and start harassing my business because of my political point of view, and we try to keep politics out of that business because there's no place in that business for politics. It's not, it doesn't matter. It's an entertainment thing. There's no reason for me to have any political point of view. I don't push it left, I don't push it right. It just is a place to go have a good time.
If you
So
wanna
like,
be entertained by
it's
you or by me, you come here. This is where the
right,
entertainment.
exactly. and
If you
and
wanna.
so, and I'm even really, I mean, this is the most I've ever talked about where I live, or what I do, or who we are out, because it's a fragile thing. People are freaking, they'll say whatever they want to say. It doesn't have to be real. But if somebody goes onto my businesses and starts leaving bad reviews, or onto your business and starts leaving bad reviews because they disagree left or right, it doesn't matter. It affects my livelihood. And then I have employees, and then it affects their livelihood. It's a trickle down effect. And then what do? Close the doors because people don't like the fact that I voted for who I voted for? That's just, it's a bunch of bullshit. So I just, you need to be careful talking openly about things, and business is a fragile thing, and the interwebs it's very fast. Everybody has information right now.
It's
You
crazy.
know,
It's crazy.
crazy.
And so trying to, how do you maintain your relevance? And I know you don't know this one, but I was watching one the other day where the woman said, you know, I never wanted to be married and have kids and da da da. And I'm thinking to myself, if my wife went on there and said some stuff like that, and they got this beautiful family that they built together, I'm like, why is she throwing him under the bus like that? This is just
Yeah.
crazy. Um, But she wanted that clout. People they chase that clout, and it's like, "Oh, let me blow this business up with this review, this going viral, review of
Yeah.
this takedown." I'm like, "But only half of that was even accurate." Like the thing with the people who were acting up at that restaurant back in, South Carolina, and I'm like,
Right.
"This wasn't
It
even
was
true. None of this happened."
none of it. Yeah, it's not even a real story. You're just making it up to try to ruin somebody's credibility.
Fortunately, the restaurant it was one of those places that wasn't brand new. And they
Right.
had a reputation that they had earned. And so therefore, this like Yahoo who spins up this like crazy false, narrative via social media ends up coming off like the idiot. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're full of shit, buddy.
We've only had like one person. Well, there's been three,
Hmm.
but one person that was really, really bad that I was kind of worried that they were going to do some kind of review for us. and she didn't, and I'm glad she didn't, and we just parted ways, and I'm glad that it ended the way that it ended.
Mm-hmm.
But she got really nasty, like really, really nasty, and
Sorry.
I was like, and I don't respond well to that stuff anyway, in the real world,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried being as kind as I could, and even at the end, we had all of her kitchen cabinet doors and drawers at my house, and it went bad, and I left her house to come pick them up, and and then before I even got to the house, she was already calling and threatening me, and it got really ugly, and I loaded all of her stuff up really nicely, and I put cardboard all because we just painted it. I put cardboard between all of it, and I loaded it really nice in my truck, and I drove it to her house, and I unloaded it in her living room. Nice. I stacked everything for her, super nice. You know, I did my best,
At the end of
but
the day, you know, in your position, in my position, when you're an owner, you've got jobs that you can choose not to take. You
yep,
can certainly got that final call, but at the end of the day, you've always got to make sure you deliver professionalism. They can never say
right.
that you weren't professional. They can never say that. Because
Yeah, well, I
we
mean,
did.
she might be able to say I wasn't professional, even though I dropped the stuff off. Yeah,
But again, you guys'
I mean,
reputation is
I could have just drove up into her front yard and just started kicking the shit out of the back of my truck right into her driveway, but I didn't. I gave her a finished product,
Mhm.
and that was all I could do. So yeah, I'm glad we parted ways. I'm glad I didn't use her money for anything and that I of value in my life, because then I'd probably have to throw it away. Jinxed money.
it, it is interesting, liability. Again, when you're an owner, the liability is different. It just is,
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
not just so.
It's a weird. I think the social media thing. It's been good. It's been
Mhm.
good. It's been bad. But I think that it's just a weird world we live in. We have gone through it all. We've seen all of the changes.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter was saying to me the other day, "Well, I've seen all of these things." I'm like, "No, you don't even know what an 8-track is, except for something you see in a vintage store. Like you didn't you didn't see the progression like we've seen the progression. We were like
Right.
freaking records. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Records to 8-tracks to tapes to CDs to everything's just video now.
That component system, and you had like
Yeah,
the
all of them.
rack.
The reel to reel.
Like if
Yeah,
all if wait if everything in your system was like the same brand,
yeah. You were money.
and you had Sony or Technique. Who were the other ones? I don't remember the big ones. Mine was all like off
Pioneer.
brand. You know,
What's that?
all my stuff was off brand.
Yeah, they had all kinds of them. Matter of fact, I follow this guy on YouTube now, and
Absolutely.
he's a young kid, man. I bet he's 20, 26, maybe 27. He seems over 23, but not 30. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? Kind of in
Yeah.
that weird, I'm almost an adult phase. But he rebuilds all of that stuff.
Oh man.
He gets the old receivers,
Yeah.
the old amps, and he blows it all out. And he changes. He puts like the LEDs in it, but he keeps it looking the way that it looked, and then just fixes the parts that need to be fixed and puts the new transistors in there, and then turns it on. And I'm just like, that is like nostalgic sound, like that when you turn it on, it's that crack when you turn
Mm-hmm.
it on.
Yep.
Yeah, just it's super cool. And he does all kinds of. He does record players and 8-track players and tape players. He just restores all of it. It's super cool.
I love it.
Makes me want to buy something.
Right. Right.
Just to have it.
I'm sitting here about to go shopping on my. Right.
Right.
You know, it's just
Just to have an old stereo system.
there's so much, and John, not to loop back on politics. Really enjoying the conversation, not talking political stuff, but
Yeah.
you mentioned, like you were talking earlier about like the roar of the engine when you start that bad boy up.
Right.
I think those things, they made us feel alive.
Yeah. I
Didn't
agree.
they? Like, I get in my boring little EV and I feel like, what a fucking loser.
Zipping
Like,
around.
even though I like it because it's cheap. It is cheap to drive. But no, I love the rumble of a Mustang.
Yeah.
And as we to go, I'm not gonna be able to put those points together. I lost my what I was really wanted to say as far as
Whiskey.
the political part was concerned, and went from culture over to other culture, which is that as this AI thing advances, we're just not going to put it back in the bottle, right? It's going to continue to come.
Yep.
What's going to matter the most are our human connections. That's going to be the type of thing that people are searching for, because when you go to work, not all works, but a lot of work, surely one person, two people could operate, could replace 20 in a bank right now,
Right.
just using these little tools, right? So
Can't replace me.
can't replace.
AI will not replace what I do.
I love it. I love it.
It'll
I
give
like
you a picture of what I do, but it won't replace what I do.
what I
You know.
it's what I'm wondering, and they've told me that I haven't actually seen one, but they tell me they got they got these things that are building now, these 3D printed buildings. I'm like, what?
Yep.
So I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've
And until
seen
I
it.
see it, it doesn't exist. You know me?
No, all you gotta do is Google it. It's there. I don't know.
Um,
I don't know. I know that they're building houses. So they're building them out of cement too, which is kind of weird because there's no like now, especially in California, if you build like anything out of cement, it has to have rebar in it. And it's tight, and it's all it has all of this structural stuff to it. So I
mhm.
don't know what kind of fibers they're running in that cement to make it any type of structural, but they're building it just a big freaking concrete pump that just looks like a 3D printer, but it's big and it just lays concrete walls. It just does it by line and just keeps going around in a circle until it builds it 8 foot tall, and then they come in and stack a roof on top of it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yep, they stack the windows in. They it leaves openings, so it'll stop and then pick
Mhm.
up over here, and then it leaves like an opening, and then they just go and they put some spray foam in there and they push the windows in, and all the electricals run. So like I think they come up like so like let's just call it like a foot, and then they run like the conduit in the walls so that way they can
Mhm.
pull wire through everything, and it's insane. It's
Wow.
cool. Foam blocks. Have you seen the foam block houses that they're building?
I've heard, but I haven't seen them yet. No.
That's a pretty cool setup. They're doing that's like a they almost look like Legos. They're like 2 maybe 3 feet
Hmm.
by 18 inches or so, and then they have so it's just flat, but they push it, the foam slides up, so it's got like it almost looks like a cinder block that's filled with foam, and then that's how they lock together. They have it's a plywood box. It's got foam, and as you push them together, the cylinders push up like 2 inches, and that's what locks them all together. Super cool building techniques. I talked to Abdul because Abdul owns property there in Africa, west coast of Africa, and he wants Corey and I to go out there and build some houses. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to Africa to build houses. Like that's that's really far away from me. But he wants us to go, and I told him, I said, what you need to look into, because they build everything in concrete there.
Hmm.
Like they're still, and even like kind of where you're at, they build everything in concrete. Nothing's built like as disposable as the United States builds it.
Yeah.
And so I told him what he needs to look into is look into these houses where you can just buy the blocks because he ships a ton of stuff back there anyway. So
Hmm.
he could fill cargo containers full of these blocks and these building supplies, and he could have a house put up in days, opposed to the months that it's taken to build there now.
What's interesting, Sand actually wants you to come to Carolina to work on a project there as well. So
For
that's
sure,
you're being
I'm down.
pulled all over the country and all over the world.
I'm down to go to Carolina and get some building.
um, yeah, man, that's wicked fascinating. I've definitely, I'm a builder. I want to see, um, you know, whoever's in charge. I want to see building happening, whether it's the
Yeah,
current president or whoever the next president's going to be, whether it's Vance or any one of those other knuckleheads. Um,
Newsom.
right? Just that's not happening. I'm telling people, people get excited about him. People being on the left, they get excited about this guy. And I'm like, he's
Why?
never going to win.
He might.
John, if he was from Texas and had
You
lost,
would never get a guy like that from Texas.
I'm
But
just saying,
continue.
let's say that he's from Texas or Arkansas. Clinton was from Arkansas, right? If
Yeah,
he was
okay.
from Kentucky, if he was from anywhere else other than New York or California, I just don't see it, man.
Uh,
I can't.
hey, I don't want it to happen.
I don't see it.
I just
But no, either whoever's in charge, I'd like to see more construction.
yeah.
We've got people coming here, and let's teach them to build. And where I am with that, and you've heard me say it before because you've been around me for a lot. I know my eyes are going here.
Well, it's late there.
We want to teach people to build and teach them in a way that helps them to understand that communities aren't simply moved into. Communities and nations are built by the
Yeah.
people who care about what they're doing, about where they live and what they're doing. And that's what you and I talk about. We disagree on the things and the mechanics and the
Yeah.
whatevers, but we don't ever disagree on caring. We agree that we care about where we are at. We just care differently, right?
Hmm.
But we care, and that's important because so many people, when we see these communities that are kind of where there's trash everywhere, there's broken windows, there's graffiti, always the first wave. Those people don't care,
Nah.
and who wants to? You're not moving there. You're not gonna. You don't want. You're not gonna move there, and you're not gonna choose to invest there
You're gonna fight your entire life to get out of there.
to get out of there, right?
You
So
know.
we want to really just. I want to do like a total national reset on that. And I'm not talking every community doesn't need this. There's plenty of
Right.
there's a million great communities across the US that are wonderful.
Unfortunately, I mean, in this, I don't know. I mean, you can say who's the bad guy, who isn't the bad guy. The problem is you have too many people out there right now that don't value what it is we've built.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When I
They
go to
don't. They wouldn't. They would look at me, right, and I know this because there's been comments made on the Twitters, on Facebook. They judge me because of the way they see me, and they don't know me, right? So like the guy I got in the fight with the Facebook, he's like, you don't know me. I was like, motherfucker, you don't know me. Like you don't know where I came from. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know. But that go. I don't. My neighbor. I don't know him. Right. I don't value his possessions as much as I value my possessions. Don't come in. You know what I mean? And so then you have this whole demographic of people right now that are they think that if they could make as much money as me, or if somebody just gave them money, that they would be better off, and then they could have what we have. And that's not the way that it works. It doesn't work like that here. That's not the way this country was designed. Like you have to work for shit. You have to build it. You have to go out and acquire the things that you want in life. And then that doesn't give those people the right to kick in my front door and take it. You know what I mean? And we have too much of that right now. We have too much of, if I leave my car parked in the parking lot in the wrong neighborhood, somebody's just going to come and take it because they feel like they're entitled to just take whatever they want because nobody ever told them no when they were a kid, and they were just running the streets doing whatever the hell they wanted because nobody told them they couldn't. And then the bad behavior was encouraged, and now here we have grown men that just walk through parking lots and steal shit because they think they can. And it's unfortunate, you know. It's an unfortunate. So I don't know if we'll ever get to. I don't know if you can do a reset. You know what I mean? Because you can't take that out of people. It
So
takes a long
John,
time. It takes a long time to unlearn the behaviors that I used to do to what I do now. It took a long time to unlearn those behaviors, and to change the way, and to be driven. I had to find people that wanted me to succeed and do better in my life for that to happen.
So we don't have a lot of time left, unfortunately, but oh man, I hate to even get into this one. The the thing that really bothers me, other than people just not getting it, going into a Walgreens or going into CVS, going into Target, and products are locked up. And when I say products, I'm talking about like
Yeah,
cleaning
everything.
products and lotion.
Everything's locked up now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you see the videos because people make videos of themselves carrying out these heists of like all the lotion in a drugstore because
Yeah.
no one's allowed to stop them. Where do these people come from?
I don't know.
I'm just like, and the
But
problem, of
where's the
course,
more so where not where did they come from, but where does that mentality come from? Where does the mentality that I can just go in and take whatever I want and nobody can do a goddamn thing about it come from?
and that's something that's new in our lifetimes. Now, obviously, we knew that people were, people were stealing forever. We know that part. We know
Right.
that.
Oh, for
We
sure.
know that.
100%.
But this idea that you're going to walk into a store knowing that no one's even going to challenge your active theft, and so you just do it.
Right. Well, think about this. When we were kids, and me and my son were just talking about this. When I was a young kid, and I was doing stupid shit in the wild, just wherever I was, because I was a stupid kid. Uh, a man of my age now, he probably would have slapped the shit out of me, or stopped me from doing it. And then if I went home and told my dad, like, hey, so and so slapped the shit out of me, my dad would be like, well, what were you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do wrong? The stranger slapped the shit out of you. Were you stealing something? Were you acting up? Were you cussing in public? Were you being disrespectful? You probably deserved him slapping the shit out of you, right? Nowadays, if somebody slaps the shit out of my grandson for being disrespectful at Target, I'm going to load my gun. And then I'm going to go down to Target and I'm going to find the person that slapped the shit out of my grandson. There's a difference. You know what I mean? And that's the way society is. Like it's so different now. Like even though that happened to me when I was a kid, I don't want somebody doing that to my kids, right? And so these people think like, hey, I don't make enough money, I don't earn enough to have these things. I'll just go take it. Nobody's gonna stop me from doing it. And it's just a mindset that's just changed. And because nobody's stopping the bad behavior, like what I was saying about the e-bikes, like let's teach them responsibility. Like let's start teaching young people respect. But they don't.
I had one I
Even
was
though
going to put out. I didn't put it up, but I'm going to. I think that pickpockets, we should track them with drones,
chop fingers off.
and we should go Sharia on them. We really should. We're not. Hey, you know what? Not full Sharia. We're not going to take your whole hand off. It's only your first offense.
Right, let's
We're
hit a
gonna
finger.
we're gonna give you a good talking to. We're gonna show you what it looks like. So you're gonna know what's gonna happen the next time I see you. You're getting that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Now, if you don't believe
Corporal
fat
punishment.
meat's, if you don't believe fat meat's greasy, if you want to fuck around and find out, we can do that.
Yeah.
Because the next time I see you, you get to pick the finger.
Well, and it's crazy though. Like, I mean, it's exactly what I was just saying about old men when I was a young boy are different than old men now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Old men back when I was a kid, those old fuckers they demanded respect from you, and they earned it. They were the ones that went and fought in World War I, fought in World War II. They were the 40 somethings in Vietnam. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? They were badasses and they demanded respect because they earned it. So when you showed them disrespect, they 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 set you straight. You know what I mean? And we don't have that anymore in this country. It's something it like Bill Maher said. I don't know if we need. He said something about trad dads, and he said we don't need to go all the way back where they were beating the shit out of you, but maybe just back to where because I said so was a good enough answer. You know what I mean? Like, don't question me. And if you keep questioning me, then we can take that further. But you're going to show me respect. Why? Because I told you to. And we have to get back to some of that stuff. And I hate siding with Bill Maher, but the more right he goes, the easier it is for me to agree with the things that he's saying because he's really, I think he's even said that he will continue to vote Democrat because that's what he's always done. And he believes in the Democratic Party. But he's having a hard time with the Democratic Party right now because of the direction that they've gone. Although I do believe that you're a lot more right than the day I met you, too.
I got into a little thing with the one today, and I said that they were, just a general conversation about. I said, look, just between you and me, you can drop climate change. It's not a winning
Yeah.
issue. You're not winning on climate, and this is for national elections. You're not winning on climate change.
Right.
I'm not saying that the climate and weather are not important. I'm just telling you that, politically, it's not a winning issue.
Right. Well, they've been ringing the bell for 40 years, and nothing's changed. It's the same ocean at the same level it was 40 years ago as it is now.
It is, right? Humans have an amazing ability to adapt. Technology enables us to grow food more efficiently, to I don't want to say change our body chemistry, but our bodies are able to be regulated by the environments that we go into. So we're always going to be okay. New diseases will always appear, and we'll figure out cures for those diseases and treatments for those diseases. Those things are always going to happen.
Yeah.
None of us gets to stop. Progress and evolution, all those things are going to happen. The weather is going to change. If we look back over, if we agree that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, which would be a really small number, then, oh my gosh, it's changed 2 degrees in the last 200 years. That's horrible. Okay. But you told me, you, Mr. Scientist and Mrs. Scientist, told me that the Earth is probably closer to what, 4.5, 5 billion years old?
I've heard as far as 600 billion.
600 billion years old.
It's old.
Very, very, very old. So, seemingly big change in a very small amount of time may not be a big change at all. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Hey, me and you've had this conversation before. I have a hard time with it. I mean, even if I gave 100,000 years, I would still think, how have we progressed over the last 100? As far as we have, if what took us 999,000 years to get here, right? Because I've watched the last 20 years and I'm like, wow, that's some shit,
right?
And if you go back 100 years, they were still riding horses. And look at our cars now. We have electric cars.
They can drive themselves.
Right. In 100 years.
Right.
So what did we do for the other 999,000 years? Like, were we just that stupid that it took us that long to get here?
We were fucking off, man. It's crazy. And that's what these Carnival Cruise people and Walmart, Tide Pod theft people want to take us back to.
Yep.
Did I just bring up Carnival Cruises?
The evolution.
In Donuts podcast.
Did you what?
Did I just bring up Carnival Cruises on our podcast?
Hey, I'm steering clear. My skin's the wrong color to be talking about Carnival Cruises. You can talk about it all you want.
Bro,
I'll just cheer you on. I'll thumbs up you from this side of the screen.
I simply could never. My cousin was in town last week, and his wife were here with us visiting, and we're like, yeah, that's just never happening. So we're like talking about maybe doing a cruise, and nothing in the Carnival family. No Carnival, no fair rides, nothing. I don't. And we were talking yesterday. Sam and I were talking. I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere with 5,000 people. That's not my.
Especially on a boat.
Right.
We did a cruise, and I'm not a fan of cruises.
Which line did you go on? Which?
Oh, I don't know. It might have been Carnival, but I mean, it wasn't like what Carnival is today. I don't know what Crown something. I don't know.
Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean, maybe something
Maybe
like that.
I like the
But
name Royal. Yeah.
it was cool. I got sick, so it's not my thing. Like, I don't know. It was just not my thing.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money to be on a boat to go to a country, and that I don't remember where we went, but like they just had a hurricane or something. It was everything. There was just shit everywhere, and it was like all just beat up and blown over. And I was like, man. So it was fun. The whole family went. And
Yeah.
everybody had a good time. So I just don't know if I would do it again. Once might have been enough. off the bucket list. Been on a big boat.
Well, John, it is almost 5 a.m. here. Oh boy.
It's almost 8 here. And my dog's coming to see me right now.
Love it. What a great conversation. I have enjoyed.
Are you gonna say hi to Trey? Look, right here. Look.
Hey, what's up? He's like, I don't see no donuts.
She came up to get some whiskey. Oh, I don't know if she's eating dinner.
Good deal. Well, great conversation as always. It's been a while since we did one.
Yeah.
It's just
we have to get back on track with this. We have a lot going on. You have a lot going on. We have a lot going on over here.
Yeah, right.
A lot of things.
But if this thing works, we may be able to carve out, 30 minutes to an hour a week, I guess, if we can do that.
It'd be easy.
So hopefully. So I will go ahead and get ready to sign off here. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Whiskey and Donuts. Or we didn't break it up. We just simply had a long form conversation about this is the way it's supposed to go, where we just kind of
this is what our conversations normally are.
Right.
When we're sitting around the kitchen table just talking. This is the way it goes.
Yeah.
This was the plan.
This was the plan. Yes.
Right. we veered from the plan, but this was the plan.
Indeed. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. John, thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, sir.
And my best to everyone, and we'll see you all on the next edition of Whiskey and Donuts.